Do you hate the thought of working past 55 or 60? Do you hate not being able to live the life you deserve today? Do you hate not knowing what your financial future looks like? It's time to stop doing what you hate. Here's your host, Mr. Harold Green.
Aloha, everybody. This is Harold Green, and it is sincerely time to stop doing the things that we hate. I hope you are having a fantastic day. I'm having a pretty good day. Over the weekend, I was contemplating something, and I was contemplating buying a set of wireless headphones so that my wife, she works from home, and sometimes my daughter, she's at home, and so our schedules vary, and I don't have the proverbial man cave where I can just go and hide out somewhere. So our TV is in the living room. And so when I want to watch football or something or whatnot, my wife may be doing the accounting. So it's just really hard to try to navigate this whole thing. So I was contemplating the wireless headphones that have a sound control on them. I do have a pair of iPod Pros, but they don't have the sound control. So I can't control the sound in my TV. The Samsung we just bought doesn't work with the headphones. So I'm like, man, what do I do? So my daughter, she said, well, I need to go to Best Buy and recycle some computers. And I was like, okay, aha. So I'll go to Best Buy and I'll look around. And if I see something that I like, I will buy the headphones. Well, I found a pair of Beats and the ones that go over your ears. And I tried them on in the store and everything. But I got them home, broke them out of the box, hooked everything up, got it all synced up. Started wearing them, and next thing you know, my neck starts to hurt because these headphones are so heavy, man. Like I swear they weigh like 5 pounds. And so I was like, okay, maybe I got to get used to them. And then the next day I woke up and I had a sore neck. I'm like, okay, I know I'm getting old, but dang. So tried it the next day, and then the next thing you know, I'm like, okay, look, this is just not working out. So today I took back the pair of Beats headphones, and so I'm in the market for some wireless headphones. And if you guys are friends with me on Facebook, just hit me up and let me know what you guys are using. I need something light that don't weigh like 15 pounds, So that's just kind of been like how my day is going. But and hopefully, again, you guys are having a great day. I want to get into a conversation that's really near and dear to my heart, and it's about education. And so the title of today's show is College Craziness. That's right. College craziness. I really don't even know where to begin. But I want to start with my personal feelings on college and, some of those things that I've gone through in regards to getting educated. And I know education is not only by way of a 4-year college degree. There's many different avenues out there to get educated because the primary purpose of an education, I believe, is to get training and to gain skills in order to get employed and to make a valuable contribution to society, which we all should be through, being productive, being responsible, taking care of society and our families the way we should, taking care of our planet, all those things that go along with, learning skills and getting education and contributing. And one of the problems I see, and I want to talk to you guys from my perspective of being an African-American male, which means I just simply have different experiences than you guys. And I'll put this out there. I don't think my life matters any more than anybody else's life. I think all of our lives matter just the same. It's just a matter of perspective and how we treat each other, with kindness and care and things of that nature. But, growing up, I had an opportunity to go to college and I turned it down because I just didn't like the circumstances under which I was supposed to go to college. And so I turned all that down and I chose the GI Bill to get, I went to the military, got the GI Bill in order to help get my college paid for. And so by the time I went to college, I was married already. I had 2 kids. And so here I am getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and then staying up till 12 o'clock at night, writing papers, doing assignments. And I went to the University of Phoenix online and I did change my major. I think it was once, I forgot, it was business, then it was business information and technology. And so that's what I was studying at the University of Phoenix, and it was all online, which at the time it was really cool because, I could pop online and get everything done when I wanted it done, when I was done with work. And I had a lot of time on my hands after, the kids went to bed and things like that. So studying for me, and I love learning, and that was a very important thing. And so I used my GI Bill to go to University of Phoenix online. No, I did not have the whole entire college experience of football games and all of that stuff. But, in today's day and age, depending on what we are attempting to do, that can be highly, highly, highly overrated. And so I want to get into some of the college craziness that I see going on in regards to people overpaying for college more than they should, kids taking longer to graduate. And it's just been like very interesting. And so I stumbled across an article that I read the other day. But before I get into that, I want to just kind of like set the stage here. And I don't want to be preachy or anything like that, but I want to go to one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible, and it's in Proverbs 22, verse 6. And it says to train up a child in the way you can say she, should go. And when he or she is old, they will not depart from it. And this is very, very personal to me. And before I get into this article, I just want to talk about what's been happening lately. I've had parents bring their kids in for the quote unquote talk. And the talk is not the kind of talk you guys think the talk is. It's a different kind of talk. It's the kind of talk where there are some hard things that need to be said in regards to bringing a big dose of reality to our kids. Okay. And a lot of times these kids are 16, 17, 18 years old, and parents are bringing them in for the talk because there's a lot of things that mom and dad just kind of, they probably said some of the things before, but they want their kids to hear it from, they call me Uncle Harold. And so we have the conversation about college and why is college important to you? And what do you need a college degree for anyway? The magic question I always ask is, what is it in the world that you want to create to benefit society? Okay. What is it that you want to do to benefit society? I don't say, what is it that you want to get a degree for so that you can, for yourself? How will you benefit society from going to college? Or what is it that you hate in the world so bad that you need a college degree to change it? And what I'm doing here is I'm helping them to set the stage to understand why they should or should not be going to the type of schools that they are looking at. Because I tell you guys, 98% of the time, there's something off with the responses. Or, for example, I had just several kids come in and they say, well, I want to go to college to get a degree because, I want to make a lot of money. I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of ways to make a lot of money, and just having a college degree is not going to help you make a lot of money. And sometimes you can make a lot of money and be the most miserable person in the world because you don't have a purpose. Okay. So we really want to dig into purpose, because until we understand what the purpose is, then we're way off basis for what we are attempting to do. And I'm setting the stage because I want to see what's really in this kid's heart, or I really want to try to understand like how motivated they are in order to get this done, because we get into deeper conversations where we talk about adversity, right? So if you really want to be a doctor, can you persevere through all of it, all of what it's going to take in order for you to remain on track? Because college has a lot of distractions. Okay. There's a lot of distractions out there. The kids are away from mom and dad, and they don't have their support groups, or they make the wrong kind of support groups. And so it is very important to begin to have these conversations with your kids from a very early age. I would say from as early as sixth grade to middle school, start having these conversations about purpose in college, because if you know good and well that they're not going to be college material, like don't even go barking up that tree. So I want to bring it back to myself being a Black African-American, and my parents didn't have all the money to send me to college, but there was a way for me to go. Like I said, I just didn't like the circumstances under which, that they were offering it. I don't want to get into it, but it just was not right for me. And the ultimate goal, for my mom was for me to have a good life, and for me to be happy. like I said, we didn't grow up with a whole lot of stuff, but my mom wanted these things for me. And so the way she raised me was in a very respectful way, to respect my elders, to be kind to people, and always do the right thing. And one of her phrases is haste make waste. So if you're going to do something, do it right, or else I'm going to make you do it again. And I just kind of heard that from my mom growing up. And so it just kind of goes hand in hand with training up the child in the way they should go, so that when they're older, they won't depart from the training. And so back to the college conversation with the kids, we definitely want to make sure that that we're doing it the right way, and that we're having these conversations early on. But again, for myself, for my mom, it was for me to have a decent life. Okay. And so there's college, there's the 4-year degrees, there are the 2-year degrees, and there are community college, and there are apprenticeship programs and things of that nature. And so to me, for the government leaders out there, they always promise us a lot of stuff. We're going to help you do this, we're going to help you do that. And there's a program, it was affirmative action. I don't know if I shared with you guys this before, but through affirmative action, I became an air traffic controller in the military, which was horrible because the people that were already there hated the fact that now they're bringing all these African-American kids in, and, they're going to make them become air traffic controllers. All the Hispanic kids come in. And you got to understand that we came from like very diverse and different backgrounds and communities. And a lot of us did not speak perfect English. We had draws. We just kind of tore apart the English language. And when you're sitting there talking to a pilot and you're trying to tell him what to do and he can't understand you, that is disastrous, right? And so it was a well-meaning program. And however, it probably wasn't right for a lot of us. It was people that were sincere in what they were attempting to do, but they were sincerely wrong. And for a lot of us, we didn't need to be forced into something that, just to look good or fill quotas, because it ruined a lot of our lives. And I went through a lot of hell because of that. And thankfully, by the grace of God and me changing things in my life, I was able to find what I'm doing right now in order to make an impact in the world, in my community, in the state here that I'm in. And so if you want to do something to help people, you really have to look at what the people really need. Because for most, I'm going to be honest, for most African Americans, like, we don't need a 4-year college degree. We don't need to be like, okay, the door is open, you guys can go in there and we're going to like pay for everything for free. But I mean, we don't need to be taught like history and all these other different things for the most part. If we're just kind of hands-on and we just want to do things with our hands, then maybe that's an apprenticeship program. So when we look at the education system from top down, it's like, look, all right, figure out what these kids need and then get them exactly what they need. Make sure corporations can, these guys are trained and that they can go right into the, into the working world, ready and trained and ready to go. And that kind of leads me back to that article that I stumbled across. And it was a very interesting by the, I think it was the president of a company called Chegg. And they're an online type of thing where they make textbooks or whatever or not. And they were talking about like the $1.6 trillion student loan debt crisis. I mean, $1.6 trillion is a lot of money. And so you guys can look that article up. And I think it was on Apple News. And it was a CNBC video. I mean, you can just look up Chegg CEO discusses the $1.6 trillion student loan debt crisis. And it's because a lot of people have gone to college, and the problem is they don't graduate, right? And it went on to say the average age of students in college, I think it was like 25 or something like that. So what it means is there's a lot of working people going to college that are still in there that are taking longer to graduate, because the younger kids, the ones that are serious about college, either they stay in and get their degree in 4 years and they're done, or they drop out. And so there's just a lot of people there that are trying to get a better degree, make a better way for themselves. And so that's why I look at, is it a good idea to start off at the community college and then go on to the 4-year college degree? And then transfer in, or is it better off to start from the very, the beginning and your freshman year at a major school? And it all depends on a couple of different things. And I'll break these down to you guys real quick. Number one, it depends on the major that the kid is looking for. Our motto is career plus major equals college. And so career plus major equals college. You figure out your career, and then you figure out what major you need to study. And then you find the college that has the best internship programs and the best pathway into that education. And one interesting point that CEO made was he said, we have to accelerate the pathway from learning to earning. In other words, there's too much bull in the education system, and a lot of people get bogged down with that. So, if you're not good at a certain subject and you're required to take all these different subjects, and it has nothing to do with, say the career that you are attempting to like launch yourself into, I think we really seriously got to look at that. In colleges, not colleges, but corporations and corporate America has to stop requiring all these different things that they require. Maybe they should stop saying you need a 4-year degree for this job. Maybe they should say, okay, a 2-year associate's in this level or this amount of training is good to go. Maybe they should have like an aptitude test. There's all kinds of things that can be done in order to get people working in great jobs. It just astounds me how crazy the whole process is. And so community college may be a good start, like to save mom and dad money and to knock some of these other things out of the way, versus going to a liberal college right off the bat and paying $90,000 a year. Now, if you can afford to do it, knock yourself out. And, if you can afford for your kid to have that experience, then by all means, do what your heart desires. But a lot of times, is the college experience worth it for a lot of people? Is it really worth it? Is it all it's cracked up to be? And that's something you're going to have to sit down and talk with your kids about. The other reason for a community college, whether you should go or not, is do you know what you want to do with your life? A lot of kids have no idea absolutely of what they want to do with their life. And I tell parents, it's the worst mistake you can make to send them off to college without them understanding what it is that they're going to do with their life. Because again, there's too many distractions and there's too many negative things that can fill that void. And I feel that if they stay home and they work maybe part-time and they go to community college, a lot of it is online anyway right now, you're going to be saving yourself a lot of money. The only downside to that is they don't get the maturation process launched until a little bit later. Because a lot of times when they're still home, mom is still cooking food and the clothes are still being washed and the house is still being cleaned. You guys are going to have to set some hard and fast ground rules if they're going to stay home, right? What time they're going to come home, like all of that good stuff. That's a whole nother family conversation. And that's an expectation conversation that you should have with your kids if they're going to stay home. And so again, community college, that may be a good place to start, but then let's take it down to a different level. So I had a parent who came in, they had 2 kids. One kid went off to, I think it was somewhere in Arizona for college, but the other kid, surprisingly enough, this kid could care less about going to college. Smart kid, really good with his hands, hardworking kid. And so what he decided to do was, he said, I'm not going to go to traditional training route. He said, I'm just going to go to trade school. And I'm gonna learn a trade. And so he went to trade school, and at the same time he was working here in Hawaii at a car dealership. He's one of the most hardest working people at that car dealership doing what he was doing. And so they laid off a bunch of people, but they kept him. And he just grew and blossomed. Now he's making money. He's getting his trade, and so he's skipping all of this, history and all the other things that go along with it. And so understanding your child and understanding, what their pros are, what their skills are and what they're good at, and training them up in that way is really going to help us in the future fight against the crazy things that are going on college campuses. It is not what it used to be. And again, there's so many different distractions. And a lot of times the kids aren't really getting the experience that the parents are hoping that they are paying for. And so I really want to get into my college funding and planning process, and something I've created some years ago, and helping kids understanding why it's important to start having these conversations sooner, because there are some steps and processes that you're going to have to go through. And I'm just going to read them off for you. We have student positioning and planning, where we help position the student for the right type of college environment or training program that they should be in. And then we help them organize all of that with the different tools that we have. And then we can help them understand which colleges, based on their grades and their scores, are going to give them the most amount of free money. So there's a couple of different ways we look at it. If a student says, I don't know what I want to do with my life, and they're super smart, then I tell the parents, hey, let the colleges pay for them to figure it out. So you find the school that's going to give them the most merit-based money, the least amount of loans, and you send them there. But you have to determine how much you are willing to pay for that out of your own pocket. And so if it's 20 grand a year, then we have to find schools that will fit the rest with merit-based aid, because the student don't know what they want to do anyway, but they are a super smart kid. Then you really don't want to limit them by going to a community college or even trade school. You really want to help them maximize their potential, but it's going to have to be at a decent school that's willing to give them the most amount of money that they qualify for based on grades and scores and different things like that. And so when we figure out the career plus major equals college, we can plug that all into, different types of software and then help that student figure that part out. But in the same token, mom and dad, you're going to have to do your part as well in regards to continue on planning for retirement, looking at ways to reduce your college cost, and then figuring out cash flow, and then figuring out what that magic number is in order to help the students achieve their goals at the right school. Okay. So there's a lot that goes into that, and it's such a complicated process. It's better to get started sooner versus later. And I say middle school is where you want to start having these conversations, because these days kids talk about all kinds of stuff, and they teach our kids all kinds of stuff in school. So why not talk about what it is they're going to need to do to start contributing to society and how to be a responsible individual? Why not talk about that? And so that's a very, very, very important thing to understand. And so I just wanted to share with you guys today a little bit about my life and a little bit about something that's, near and dear to my heart. But again, college is not what it used to be. And we're really going to have to figure out how to fight this thing the way it needs to be fought versus waiting on government or some other entity to step in and bail us out. All right. So we're smart people. A lot of us are hard workers, and we want to see, we want the best for our families. And so that's going to mean figuring out how to fight this college craziness the right way. And so if you're out there, you got young kids, you want to start having these conversations now, give me a call, 808-521-4401, and let me help you figure out how not to do something that you guys hate before you even get involved in the process. All right. Thanks a lot for letting me share this with you guys today. And until next time, 1, 2, 3, let's get it.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.